Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our presentation, Digitalize Your Print Production. My name is Christopher Graf from Hybrid Software, and next to me I have my fellow colleague, Pascal Vibaud, being our product manager. Hello and good afternoon. This afternoon we want to present part of our products and solutions for you, and let me give first some introductory words on our company before Pascal then we'll show you a live demonstration. Hybrid Software is a pure software company, and we are specializing in innovation, modernization, and advanced technology. We have started our venture in 2011, and we are fully focusing on the labels and packaging market, where we combine digital components and professional expertise. Actually, our background is in pre-press software for the labels and packaging industry, and many of my colleagues are in this industry now for many, many years already, so we bring in a lot of experience in that field. When we started Hybrid Software, we had the idea of bringing together the commercial aspects and the technical aspects of the business workflows of our customers. By the way, this is why we are called Hybrid Software. We are very much customer focused. We listen to our customers and act upon their input. What you see in our products is actually input coming from our customers. We are building this based on the requirements and the demands. And we work with them in the spirit of mutual and long-term partnerships. Here you can see a small list, an overview of the customers we are working for, in many, many cases in really long-term, over years relationships to build and extend their production environments. We believe in partnerships and work with a lot of other vendors in the field of print production. Of course, for us, it is very important to understand the business aspects of our customers. So ERP and MIS systems are very important. Here we are working with all the big companies like the SAPs and PrintPlus and Microsofts of this world, but also with the local and regional vendors of these softwares. As important is the field of color. Here we work with GMG and ColorLogic, and in the field of packaging design with Arden Software and 3D with Creative Edge. This is not only a partnership, but also a technology relation we have. So we are really integrating their technology in our solutions. On the output side, it's the typical digital press vendors as much as plate setters and engraving machines, the way down to inspection systems. Important to mention here are our group companies, Global Graphics Software, Zytron and Meteor, where we actually integrate a lot of their technology also. For example, our CloudFlow RIP is based on the Global Graphics Harlequin RIP technology. To our product lines, we actually have two main product lines. One is CloudFlow, which is our enterprise production workflow. We call this a work environment. That's also why we call it a work space. It actually provides to our customers everything that is required to manage their files, their specifications, automate their processes, up to also collaboration tools, online approvals, and all these things. The system is fully expandable as much in performance and in functions, and it even works cross-location. The other main product is PAX, which is our professional PDF editor. This includes all the required functionality for making designs print ready, whether this is pre-flight, trapping up to step and repeat and output. And it's actually meant for any printing process. This product is on the market for a while already, and it really has become the standard in PDF editing for the labels and packaging industry. This time we actually announced a new family of the PAX, a new product of the PAX family, which we call STEPS. And Pascal will use this today for our live demo. It's fully based on the PAX technology, but it is tailored towards digital printing applications. So it really includes all the functions which are specifically required in that field of application. And because of that, it has a fast learning curve. And it is, as much as PAX, fully expandable with all the modules we have created for step and repeat, for warping, and for any other specific applications. But let us see what this means live. I hand the word over to Pascal. Enjoy.
Okay. And can somebody make me presenter? Can the host make me presenter? Yes, please. Is the host there?
Hey there, you just have to share your screen.
Yeah, okay. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. So you should see my screen for now, okay, with Steps. So Steps is our PDF editor that is dedicated for digital printing, like Christopher was saying today, and thank you for joining. Of course, digital printing, it's becoming more and more important. If you look to it, it's ecologically sustainable. Printing press speeds are going high, yeah, the double speed as 5 years ago. So imagine what it's going to be in from now to 5 years. And of course, we see also more and more customized label and packaging. And this is also important. So I hope in this short 15-minute presentation of Steps that I will highlight all the things. So in digital printing, you have to move fast because you get a lot of orders in. So you have to bring as quickly as possible that label, that flexible packaging design or folding carton to the digital printing press. And with hybrid software and Steps, you are safe because we are working with open standards. So if your customers are going to deliver a PDF file, then instantly that PDF file is going to be visible on screen. Typical over here is I have a label, it has a front and it has a back. So, and I will have to perform some base pre-press on it before I'm going to start printing. What we are going to do is we are going to do a pre-flight, and out of a whole bunch of pre-flight checks and pre-configurations, I can take one out. I can specify what I would like to check, such as low resolution images, barcodes that are in it, RGB objects. And then I can decide also to fix them automatically. Of course, I'm going to do that in an interactive way, or a semi-automatic way, so that you see something in the demonstration. So over here, I perform my pre-flighting on that label, and actually it makes 3 comments on it. It detects barcodes, redundant clips, and RGB images. And if I have a closer look into it, I see indeed that there is a barcode in it. Together with the workspaces that I have, that I can link to the dedicated task that I am going to perform on it, I can go to my barcode generator, and I can choose out of a list of available barcodes to create one from 0. But since there is already one delivered, and it seems to be an EAN 13, I can actually just update the number where there is a pre-flight done as well, if the number is going to be correct. If we print digital, we most likely are not going to apply bar width reduction. I can set some additional parameters as well, and I can just set this information. Let's zoom out and have a look to the redundant information in it. As you can see, that it indicates that there is redundant information. Now, if I have a closer look, yeah, it has a lot of information in it. I have several tools, so pre-flighting can be done as well, hidden with menus, but it can also be done over here, yeah, where in an automatic way, I'm removing all the redundant information of the labels inside. I go back into my preview, and it inspects as well that and reports that there are RGB images in it. So for RGB, don't panic, of course, because yeah, you're definitely not going to print in RGB, but you can take that same image and stay within the same application and actually convert it to CMYK using your customized press profiles, for instance, or standard profiles that you're used to work with in production. If I look to my paint, I see that quite a lot of spot colors are reported over here. And if I look to my spot color list, I also see there are a lot of in it as well, and they all seems to be used. Of course, if I want to inspect every single separation one by one, I have the possibility to do so. Of course, if we're going to print digital, we're most likely going to have a fixed ink set. Digital presses are not so known of having spot colors on it. Most of them have a preset ink set, CMYK, but let's make it a little bit more advanced over here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to map my keyline, because personally I like standardization in my process, and I'm going to remap it to another spot color, like a Pantone or a customized one out of my ink books. So if I take die cut, for instance, it's typically going to indicate the name. It's going to say it's technical. So consequently, if we send it off to digital printing presses, it can filter out automatically the die cut. And as you can see, for every ink, I can actually calculate together with the substrate how much kilos of ink or liters of ink I will have to buy. So I can define the precise price that I'm going to invoice to my customers. But now, what about all these spot colors? Of course, I can easily convert everything to CMYK, but imagine that your digital press consists of an expanded gamut. Then I'm going to go to my convert colors. I'm going to load the profile of my printing press, which in my case is cyan, magenta, yellow, black, and orange, greenish, and violet each. And I'm going to request to the application to convert everything. Of course, for the conversion, we want to have a minimum of color change. And there are some reports on that. The report is fully informative and positive. And if I have a visual look here on my screen, I see that there is no shift. However, if I go to my separation list and remove all in use, I see it indeed has converted it to cyan, magenta, yellow, black, orange, green, and violet. I put the die cut on the right position up, and there you go. Typical, if you go to digital printing as well, is that you are going to, that you may work with finishing separation. And for that, we also have some more advanced solutions within PACS. So imagine that I want to add a varnish, or imagine that I want to make a white underprint over here on these logos. So I can select everything. I can go to my finishing plate solutions. I can check if there is a varnish already in it. It's not in my case. I'm just going to mention it. And of course, I'm going to add it into it. As you can see, yeah, I have now my varnish. Let's redo that once for the bottom part of the label. So I take it, I'm just going to add the varnish to it. It's added as well. But if I do not want to have it on certain areas, like I do here on the barcode, I can simply subtract it from it and you will have it as well. The varnish separation is added. So that means I can fully manage it as well in my separation view. And I can actually mark it as a varnish ink as well, so that the digital printing press is not going to pick it up, but the inline post-finishing printing parts that could be in Flexo can pick it up and and I can send it off then, of course, to my plate maker in that case to have a Flexo plate. Imagine that this was the pre-press work that I had to do. I still have a front and a back label on one page. And of course, if you're working in PDF, you may work in multi-page. So I can actually insert pages as well. But with steps, we can also avoid that you will have to copy everything from page one, create a new page, paste it, position it, set the page boxes, try to find the die cut information in it. So, and therefore, we also have access to Pactions. And Pactions are parameterized actions lists that you can make. And actually, it gives you the possibility to create your own tools and say, for instance, look, from this back label, I'm going to make a page. And from this front label, I'm also going to make a page. So actually, I just drag rectangles over it. And as you can see, it has created two new pages by going to remove the first page, for instance. And if I have a closer look into it, it has automatically detected the irregular shaped die cut. It has put the die cut on overprint, and it has also marked the bleeding area. So if I just double click on it, there you go. This is my net format. This is my bleed. And of course, if I select the die cut, this is my die cut. That's well done. That's easy, I would say. But in approval cycles, you will also want to probably give that to somebody to sign off. And then typically you are going to bring in registration marks mentioning the dimensions of the label and any other metadata. And it's nice to know that with all the products of hybrid software, you can link up with third-party resources. So if I'm going to select an info panel and I will apply it on the design, then the info panel will automatically adapt because these objects are dynamic and repositions around the label, and all the metadata around it will be completed with information that is linked to the design. For instance, the separation list with ink consumption, or I can go for more advanced settings as well. I can actually go inside it as well, and I can also make some extra changes to it. There you go. And then the winding is going to change as well. When I'm going to save all of this, everybody knows that we are not going to produce one label at a time. And then from within the same application, I can make step and repeats. And if we are going to make step and repeats, there are several solutions available depending on the digital printing process. We have it for labels and flexible packaging. We have it for folding carton, but we also have some smarter solutions that I will show in a couple of minutes. But let's start by loading the workspace to make a step and repeat out of this label. So I'm going to load some presets of my digital printing presses that I have in my house. So it's actually setting the drum size. I'm going to take my label, drop it in. So as you can see, you can smoothly go from one operation to another operation. It's going to be viewed on the screen. I can set the orientation on the cylinder. I can ask to take out the die cut out of the design, and then I can simply step it up. For instance, 2 times by 2, I'm going to add some extra gaps between the labels. And because I'm printing the ink to the edge of the cutting die, I'm just going to apply bleed to it as well. A step and repeat can be a combination of several labels. So when I'm going to take that second label, the back label, for instance, I'm just going to add some extra space between it. I'm just going to say, well, I would like to use the second page out of it. And because I do not have yet a die cutting tool to respect, I'm going to ask the software to automatically divide the white between the stepped design. Of course, if we're going to print it like that, there are 2 things missing. There are registration marks, and registration marks are available in a large library that I'm making. So I can actually go into my library, I can search for iMarks in my case over here and simply apply them. However, if I need then also a tool for my finishing machine, I can simply go into the die filters, and I can supply to my tool maker in a CAD format or even in PDF and create the die cut as well. And here you go. Voila. I can decorate it as well with any kind of additional marks that would be needed for your tool maker to provide you the right information. But please remember, when we are printing labels and in a digital way, you're probably going to have much more orders to process compared to classic printing. And there it's nice. Yeah, if you have all these orders, you would like to gang them all together on one roll, for instance. And then it's nice to know as well that in the product range of hybrid software, we have a product called Paximizer. And Paximizer allows you to say which printing technique you are using. For instance, I'm going to respect a die cut library for which I'm going to load my die cut library. I'm going to say I prefer step and repeat creation of labels, of multiple labels, and I would like to have one column per label. But then my ERP and MIS system has provided information, typically on a printed sheet, to an operator that completes everything. In digital, you don't have time. So you're simply going to load the information that the ERP and MIS system is going to supply to you. That's what I'm doing. I select that file. I set some extra params in it. And when it's loaded, it's going to actually tell you which labels in that order are combined. In my case, there are 8 labels combined. It's going to tell me how many labels I want for each. And I'm going to ask 2 steps to optimize the imposition so that I have a minimum of waste and in my production. Imagine that I allow actually to set some params that the ERP and MIS doesn't supply me all of the necessary information. That I'm simply going to say, look, rotate and see if you can make a better optimization. And instantly you will see a better optimization for which it's going to tell you that I have to print 1,250 sheets of each of the impositions, and for which it's going to tell you how much waste you're going to have for every label. If I'm fine with it, I'm simply going to go and request the step and repeat, and then I can already complete it by asking. I can actually complete it by asking the bleed, for instance, and then depending on your digital printing press, I can add also my registration marks on it. Everything stays dynamic, so whenever you're going to change something, the marks and everything around it will be updated as well. I'm using labels, but you may think also of digital printing of folding carton. It's a fast growing part of the industry as well. So if I'm going back to Paximizer, and I'm going to tell, I would like to do a nesting of folding cartons. I can also load some presets on it. Yeah, because typically for folding carton, you will have a digital printing section with a classic cutting section. I'm going to set my paper sizes, for instance, my gripper edges, because in this case, I do not have information of my MIS or ERP, just to indicate that you can also do it in a manual way. I simply going to load my folding cartons in it, and I'm going to set how many labels, how many folding cartons in this case I would like to have, and ask Paximizer to make a suggestion of what is possible. It does 2 suggestions with a waste of 27.6. Well, I think in this case, the first one is the most practical one. I simply going to create the step and repeat. And like you have seen already for any other printing technique, I can add any kind of marks in it as well. Like if I just want to have some simple offset marks in it that I used to have for my classic printing, you can do that as well. So the tool Paximizer can be used to gang jobs together for digital printing, but can also be used as a solution for classic printing, and also to estimate the cost of doing production and how you are going to gang everything together. But digital printing is also very known for the variation of the designs. Yeah, and in there, within the same application, we give you also the possibility to make an unlimited amount of unique designs based on a database resource. And for that, I'm just going to load unlabel. And I'm going to load my workspace to do variable data printing. So there we go. Hold on. So there you go. We just take the label. I'm going to load my workspace. Yeah. There you go. And actually what I have done is I have already prepared that a little bit more in advance. I have actually a database resource where there is a QR number, images as well, two kinds of images there and a serial number for the label as well. So what you're going to have in steps in the entire product range of hybrid software is the ability to actually link your database source with the design. And in my database, I have 140 unique designs. And as you can see, my images in the background, the monsters and the monster logo and the logo, Yum Yum, that is already variated. But how do we do that? Well, it's very easy. In the same application, you are simply going to take the elements that you want to make variable, for instance, that QR code, you go into your database, you link it up, and when the moment you start scrolling through it, you see now that not only the logos are changing and the brand, but also the QR code is changing. If I want to do the same over here, I'm simply going to go inside it as well. I'm taking my serial number. I can go into the counter, or I can take a number out of my database resource, and voila, it's done. I have a serialization of my label. Of course, very important is that your customers may not supply you the data as you want. So imagine that you want to add number to it, then we are simply going to, without opening the data resource, add some extra text strings to it, and voila, it's simply done. So I have a prefix of NR to tell that this is a serial number. And the nice thing is that I can expect every single label before I'm actually going to my printing press. Of course, like we said already, we are not going to print one label. We are going to print multiple labels. And therefore, I'm going to go back to my step and repeat, where I'm going to load my print settings, my press settings. I'm going to take my label out of it. There you go. I start rotating it correctly. And then I'm going to say the cutting die that should be respected. I can add some extra bleed. But now when I'm going to apply and request for, let's say, 5 labels by 2, and let's add some extra space, then steps is going to respect the variable data, and will show you, of course, every single label as it's going to be printed on your printing press. So that means that you are going to take the preparation of printing variable data from your digital front end of your press, bring it into steps, and we are going to give you the advantage to actually push it to any digital printing press that you have in-house. Of course, like I said already, we can simply finish that, and by adding registration marks to it, and if that was not enough yet, we also able to add lead in and lead out. That gives you the possibility to identify in an automatic way. So there we go. That identifies in an automatic way the job that arrives on the printing press, and that is protecting the printed labels as well at the end by creating a lead out. And that's it from now. I hope I inspired you that steps and the products of hybrid software can help you tremendously to increase the production in a digital printing house. Christopher?
Yes, I'm just looking whether there are any questions in the forum, but I cannot see any. So in this case, thank you very much for your attention and have a good day.
All right.